Okay, so we are Group A, and my name's Alex Single. We have Kane Miller and Grace Green as well, and our company is Nestle. So, table of contents. Today we're going to talk about the overview and background of the company, some research topics, some research findings, recommendations for the company, conclusion, and references. Okay. For the overview of the Nestle company, Nestle is the most diversified food and beverages company in the world, with more than 450 manufacturing facilities selling products in over 188 countries worldwide. It was founded by Henry Nestle, dating back to 1866. It's predominantly in the food processing industry with other extensions in pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and pet foods. The national headquarters is in Wilmington, Delaware, and the current CEO is Mark Schneider. Nestle currently employs over 328,000 people and is associated in 188 countries. Continue. In 1866, two U.S. brothers, Charles and George Page, established the Anglo-Swiss Condensed Milk Company. Using the abundant supplies of fresh milk in Switzerland, they started Europe's first production facility for condensed milk and sold the milk under the Milkmaid brand. In the late 1860s, troubled by the high infant mortality rate, Henry Nestle used his scientific knowledge to create an infant formula. Nestle was a German-born pharmacy apprentice who launched his Farine Lactée, flour with milk, in Switzerland by combining cow's milk with wheat flour and sugar. The formula was designed for infants who could not be breastfed. He also placed the Nest logo on his containers, the famous logo that would become the icon for the future Nestle company, which is shown later in the PowerPoint. Continued. In 1875, Nestle sold his infant formula to two local Swiss businessmen, the Pages. Fierce competition soon began, with the Anglo-Swiss company trying to outdo many other local companies in an effort to develop the best infant cereal and condensed milk, and therefore monopolize the market. In 1905, the Anglo-Swiss Condensed Milk Company merged with the Nestle Group and was renamed the Nestle and Anglo-Swiss Milk Company. In late 1905, the merged company expanded its milk products to include unsweetened condensed milk and sterilized milk. It also began selling chocolates. Okay, continue. During World War I, the demand for Nestle became an extremely high demand product. What? No. This led to the attainment of numerous governmental contracts. In 1915, the British Army began including Nestle canned milk in emergency rations for the soldiers. To ensure the company had the resources to provide for their contracts, they brought up over 40 U.S. refineries and signed a supply agreement with several Australian milk companies. The monetary results from the war and company acquisitions led to an enormous expansion of the Nestle and Anglo-Swiss Milk Company. In 1929, the merged company bought Switzerland's largest chocolate company, Peter Callier Kohler. In 1938, Nescafé is launched. It's a powdered extract of pure coffee that delivers coffee's natural flavor just by adding hot water. The outbreak of World War II in 1939 affected virtually every market, and the Nestle and Anglo-Swiss Company continued supplying both civilians and armed forces with its products. Many Nestle products, including Nescafé, were also added to Care Aid supplies that were being sent to Japan and Europe. In the late 1940s, as World War II subsided, the company's productions continued to boom, expanding its product line and monopolizing the market. In 1947, the company added Magi soups and seasoning to its products and adopted the name Nestle Alimentana. In 1948, Nestea and Nesquik were also launched. During the 1950s, several new products were released. Numerous seasoning, bouillon cubes, and canned ravioli became very popular. This success fueled the production of many more canned prepared foods. From the 1960s to the 80s, Nestle expanded its products to frozen foods and pharmaceutical cosmetic products. They bought the finest frozen food brand from the Swedish manufacturer Marabou. They bought also the French yogurt producer Jamborcy, the French water brand Vitel. They bought the canned food producer McNeil and Libby, the cosmetic company L'Oreal, and just a bunch of other things, just expanding. In 1970, following the many successful buyouts and expansions, the Nestle portion of the company was able to buy out the Anglo-Swiss portion and was renamed as simply Nestle. In 1985, Nestle added brands such as Carnation and Coffee Mate, and also entered the pet food business buying out Friskies. They also added brands like Kit Kat, Smarties, Perry Mineral Water, Alpo and Spiller's Pet Foods, Kraft Food, and Jenny Craig Weight Management business. By 2015, Nestle Company monopolized the market. Nestle sells more infant formula, frozen food products, chocolate products, dog cat food, and pharmaceutical cosmetic products than any other company in the world. Their current net worth is $279.44 billion. And this is their logo that was established by Henry Nestle in the late 1860s. And now I'm going to pass it on to Gracie.
The topic to be discussed / research will be focused on Nestle's ethics and corporate social responsibility. Ethics can be defined as standards of moral behavior, that is, behavior accepted by society as right versus wrong. Business ethics imply a system of moral principles and rules of conduct applied to business so that the business should be conducted according to certain self-recognized moral standards. Corporate social responsibility can be defined as a business's concern for the welfare of society. Embracing CSR increases customer retention and loyalty, increases employee engagement, improves brand imaging, attracts investment opportunities and top talent, and makes a difference for bottom line financials. Ethic in corporate social responsibility is concerned with protecting the interests of all stakeholders such as employees, customers, suppliers, and the communities in which the business operates. There have been numerous instances in which the Nestle company has come under scrutiny for unethical behaviors and practices. The baby formula scandal in the 1970s, in developing countries in Africa, Latin America, and Asia during the 1970s, Nestle sent saleswomen dressed as nurses to convince the mothers that the Nestle formula was better for their children than their own breast milk. So many poor families diluted the formula, resulting in an extremely weaker formula nutritionally. Millions of infants died, while many others grew up nutritionally deficient, severely reduced the health and lifespan of the developing world. Nestle even paid off doctors and hospitals to push their claim of their infant formula. Nestle made billions of dollars from the infant formula scandal, eventually led to a boycott of the formula by the public. In some ways, it is still going on today, despite Nestle changing the formula to follow national standards and guidelines. Child slave labor in the late 1990s to the early 2000s, as recently as 2021, Nestle was sued by 8 former child slaves for aiding and abetting the illegal enslavement of thousands of children on cocoa farms and their supply chains. Litigation is ongoing, exploiting drought-ridden areas / public right to water in the 1990s. Despite the crippling droughts and wildfires that annually ravage California, Nestle's CEO proudly continues to exploit the state's water resources. The exact amount Nestle pumps from estimates at around 1 billion gallons annually since 1988. In 2000, then Nestle CEO Peter Lemethin was quoted as saying access to water should not be a public right. Plastic pollution / greenwashing. Much of Nestle's single-use plastic packaging is unrecyclable and turns into winds up in parks, littered through cities and in water supplies. Greenpeace claims that rather than focusing on reducing or eliminating the waste produced by their products, Nestle will instead focus on burning their plastic waste. In doing so, they will produce toxic pollution that does significant harm to humans and wildlife alike. Contamination of groundwater. Nestle is also blamed for exploiting groundwater in areas where the public needs it the most and selling it for profit. Pakistan, which was recently reclassified from water stressed to water scarce, has seen water sources in areas where Nestle began sourcing its pure life water sink hundreds of feet since production began. Forced labor 2014. Nestle has recently launched their own investigation into allegations of Thai fishing industry practices. The findings revealed that the workers are immigrants brought in from Thailand's even poorer neighbors like Myanmar and Cambodia. For the privilege of a Thai job, the immigrants are charged an illegal fee and trapped into working within the fishing industry to pay off heavy debt. In 2014, Nestle promised to take action to improve workers' conditions and find. According to some critics, Nestle's chocolate production is an ugly affair littered with allegations of malfeasance. In September 2017, the environmental group Mighty Earth conducted an investigation that found Nestle's industry practices in the Ivory Coast and Ghana contributed heavily to the country's deforestation crises. In 2012, the Competition Bureau alleged that former Nestle Canada CEO Robert Leonidas shared the company's pricing plans with competitors Hershey, Mars, and Cadbury, which then did the same to illegally control the market. In 2002, the Administrative Department of Security ordered Nestle Colombia to decommission 200 tons of powdered milk. Also, in 2017, Nestle's Poland spring water inspired a lawsuit seeking class action status. It is based on the contention that common groundwater is used in Nestle's product, marketed as containing 100% natural spring water. There has currently been more than 6.2 million tons of CO2 emission reductions compared with the business as usual scenarios. 129.2 billion servings of affordable nutrition with micronutrient fortifications have been offered. Nestle was the first company to disclose the nutritional value of its entire global portfolio of food and beverage products using a health star rating system. Nestle states that they remain focused on achieving and maintaining 100% deforestation-free primary supply chains for meat, palm oil, pulp and paper, soy, and sugar, and aim to do so by 2025 for coffee and cocoa. Business owners and their management teams can work with employees to prevent unethical behaviors. Creating a code of conduct, leading by example, reinforce consequences for unethical behavior, showing employees appreciation, welcoming an ethics speaker, create checks and balances, hire for values, and accept responsibility / publicly apologize for wrongdoings. Nestle's current code of conduct / ethics is very broad, generally stating that business practices are governed by integrity, honesty, fair dealing, and full compliance with the law. Although the current code is in line with the more common compliance-based code of ethics, incorporating a more focused and emphasized integrity-based code of ethics is suggested. Compliance-based ethic codes emphasize unlawful behavior by increasing control and by penalizing wrongdoers, while integrity-based ethic codes define the organization's guiding values, create an environment that supports ethically sound behavior, and stresses a shared accountability among employees.
So, recommendation 1 continued. In order to pursue a stronger emphasis on the integrity / honesty-based ethic codes, there are several factors that need to be implemented. You have to create a committee to establish a new, more detailed, integrity-based code of ethics. The committee includes senior members of the company from each facility, stakeholders, current, past employees and investors, and possibly a few new customers. Top management must be on board and adopt and support the code. They must be very specific on expectations, develop a standard of accountability, outline consequences that could occur if code is not followed, and have each employee sign a contract of agreement to the ethics code. With good guidelines, everyone can be held accountable because they have been given the information and expectations prior to action taken. Our recommendation number 2 is ethics speakers. You can bring in a speaker on ethics and corporate social responsibility at least once a year. Give each employee comp time or a stipend so that they can attend without losing money. Require feedback from employees on speaker to ensure each employee participated. Have the speaker available for several days so that anyone can attend. Provide video or podcast of the speaker in case someone cannot be present in person. So continued, we have a list of possible speakers. Recommendation number 3, hire an ethics officer. Utilize whistleblowers. Ethics officers allow employees to express concerns on an anonymous level. They sometimes serve as counselors and can act as an investigator when needed. They are people who can be trusted to maintain confidentiality, conduct objective investigations, and ensure that the process is fair, and demonstrate to stakeholders that ethics is important. According to the Society for Human Resource Management, the ethics officer serves as the organization's internal control point for ethics and improprieties, allegations, complaints, and conflicts of interest, and provides corporate leadership and advice in corporate governance issues. The most effective CEOs do much more than simply create a list of rules and regulations and focus on punishing wrongdoers. They have a genuine passion for establishing a values-based organizational culture that is hospitable to individuals who share and live the values. Recommendation 3, continued whistleblowers are insiders who report illegal or unethical behaviors. They're protected by which helps them to feel protected from retaliation. Frank Act includes a balance of whistleblowers if the information given results in a successful enforcement. Our recommendation 4, utilize social auditing each year. Social auditing is a systematic evaluation of an organization's progress towards implementing socially responsible and responsive programs. Many social audits consider workplace issues, environment, product safety, community relations, military weapons, contracting, international operations, human rights, respect for the rights of local people. Recommendation 4, continued, an audit helps companies to determine if they are meeting their objectives, which may include measurable goals and benchmarks. A social audit serves as a way for a business to see if the actions being taken are being positively or negatively received and relates that information to the company's overall public image. Once the results of an audit have been accessed, adjustments as needed. Recommendation 5, offer bonuses for proper conduct. Just as many companies offer bonuses to facilities and those employees for amount of time, so should other companies like Nestle. Likewise, these bonuses could be awarded to the facilities and their employees if they are able to maintain proper conduct and follow the code of ethics without incidents over said period of time. When there is no consequence for poor work ethic and no reward for good work ethic, there is no motivation. Recommendation 6, ethics and integrity training. Using Skillsoft software purchased by Nestle require each employee to complete a training course once a year in business ethics and integrity. These courses are online and available for each employee to complete either at work or at home. The employee must show proof of passing each course by printing out their certificate and turning it in. Recommendation 7, publicly accept responsibility. It seems most people are more willing to forgive and forget faster if the responsible party willingly owns up to their fault and publicly acknowledges their shortcomings. Apologizing by admitting a mistake to coworkers, employees, customers, clients, the public at large tends to gain credibility and generate confidence in one's leadership. Acting defensively, on the other hand, undermines it. Credibility requires that an apology be immediate, unenforced, sincere, and specific in terms of what exactly one did that was wrong and who specifically has been hurt, or what process flawed or product or service affected. An apology can serve to strengthen an organization, and it can also begin to rebuild lost customer trust. And our recommendation 8, give freely to the needy. There is no greater way to say I'm sorry or I appreciate you than to give freely without expecting anything in return. Work with a disaster relief program and send free cases of water to areas in need. Volunteer to help clean up areas following natural disasters. Volunteer time for their participation, maybe even a stipend. In conclusion, Nestle is a very successful company and has been in business for several hundred years, and yet there are still many ethical and corporate social issues that continue to even today. Although Nestle has made some adjustments to its business practices, they seem to still have a long way to go to win the public back completely. A greater focus on the ethics and integrity-based code of the conduct and a true accountability system for violators could certainly be a step in the right direction.
Okay, then I'm just going to click through our references real quick just to show them.
And now we have our references down here.
Okay, and that's going to sum up our presentation. Thank you.